a string x is equal to, compute the length of a string x is equal to, x is equal to ABB right? Should I repeat it? Compute the length of the string x, where x is equal to ABBA. ABBA, right? Is it clear?
Ma'am, ABBD, no?
No. ABBA. Wait, I'll just share the screen, but just give me 1 minute. ABBA. And you have to compute the length of that particular string x. Right? Try to solve that. Tell me what's your answer. The length of the string is ABBA.
Is 4.
Ma'am, 4.
Yeah, it's 4. Are you sure about it? Okay, that's good. That's really nice that you have computed the solution. Yeah. Now what we will do is now take down. Okay, so the question was x. Yeah, the question was x is equal to, what was the question? Yeah, x is equal to ABBA, right? The question was x is equal to ABBA, and you were supposed to compute the length of x, right? And it's coming about, it's what? It's 1, 2, 3, 4. There are, as you can see, there are four alphabets which are present in the string x, right? This is a string, right? X is a collection of string. S is basically a string which consists of 4 alphabets A, B, B, A. So x, the length of x is equal to 4. This is how you compute it. Now if I give you another question like, okay, take down another question, compute the occurrences, compute the occurrences of A's and B's, right? Compute the occurrences of A's and B's. And I'm giving you the string x is equal to, okay, this is the string which is given to you. Now you have to compute the occurrences of A's and B's. How will you do that? First of all, you denote that occurrence of A in this way. Yeah, mod of x to the base A. This denotes what? This denotes the occurrence of A. So tell me, what are the occurrences of A's?
4.
4.
Yes, very good. And now you have to compute the occurrences of B. So what are the values over here? Occurrences of B,
4.
that's
4.
also coming to be 4, right? And tell me the length of x. If I want to ask length of x also, what is that?
16. No, 8,
8,
sorry. 8.
8, right? It's 8. So this was pretty simple, right? Occurrences, the length and all, how to compute it. This was the important topic of this overall art, I mean, our overall calculations which is required. Okay, now we will switch on or move forward to our main topic, and you have to pay attention over there. Okay. Now, yep, so occurrences, length, and all this is very clear to you. Now, let us start something which is called as what? Something which is called as a language. What do you mean by a language. So basically in languages, we have strings, right? Language is composed of strings, and strings are the basic elements of a language. The basic elements of a language are, what are the basic elements of a language? We have strings, right? Strings are the basic elements of a language. And a language over an alphabet. How do we denote an alphabet? How do we denote one alphabet? Yes, guys. By
Sigma.
sigma or what?
Sigma.
I think sigma. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Sigma.
Yes. Very good. An alphabet. Alphabet is denoted by. Alphabet is denoted by sigma. Okay. And the definition of language says that a language over an alphabet sigma, a language over an alphabet sigma is a subset of sigma star. Sigma star. What do you mean by sigma star? It contains all values of alphabet, right? So that's the formal definition of a language. It says that a language over an alphabet sigma is a subset of sigma star. Okay. Now in that there are few examples. Like for example, the empty set 5. We denote an empty set by 5. Okay. It is a language over alphabet. Okay. And for that, how do we denote one empty set? Empty set is, for that we use what? We use epsilon, right?
Epsilon.
Yes. For an empty set, we use epsilon, and we denote it as, it is denoted as epsilon. Okay, this is an empty set which consists of epsilon. Epsilon indicates that it is a empty set. Now next one, if there are set of all strings over 0, 1 that start with 0, how do we denote that? Set of all strings. Set. So basically just remember that set of strings are represented in the forms of zeros and ones, or it can be A's and B's. Okay. It can be zeros and ones, or it can be A and B. This is the way how you represent a particular strings, okay, set of strings. So set of all strings will consist of either 0, 1, or it may consist of A, B. Yep. Now if you have, now the question is why only A, B? If you have more than A, see zeros and ones, it's constant because either the value can be 0 or it can be 1. It cannot be more than that, because here we are just interested in considering the binary values in the form of zeros and ones. Okay. Now, in talking in terms of alphabets, you have A, B. You can also include other elements, like you can also include A, B, C. Okay. This is also acceptable. The next point over here to remember is that the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma with even number of A's can be given as, how do we give that? Okay, now suppose this is a question which comes in the exam. You have to imagine. Okay, you have to imagine, and you have to see. You have to think in your mind how that can be represented. Okay. Now suppose there is a question which comes like, okay, set of all strings over the alphabet sigma with even number of A's. Okay. Here you are interested in even numbers of A's. So the question is, compute the set, show the set of all strings. Show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma. Okay, with such type of questions comes in the exam. Okay, with even number of A's. Okay, this is the question which is given to you. Show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma with even number of A's. So what will be my solution over here? What a even number of A's they are saying. So you will have a set of all strings which consists of even number of A's. And it's not an empty set, so we cannot include epsilon over here. Even number of A's I'm interested. So it can be either A, right? And what else? It can be A, B, A. We are just interested in even number of A's. It can be A, B, B, etc. and so on. We can have infinite values of even number of A's, right? So this is your solution. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now next one, you have to remember this. Okay, if the question comes, show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma with even number of A's, then it's pretty simple. You have to just generate that particular values in your mind. You just have to write the even number of A's here and represent the set in such a way, and it will be definitely an infinite string, right? It is an infinite string. Okay, now if I give you another question, okay, try to solve it. The set of strings, okay, you have to compute or you have to show the set of strings. Second question is set of strings over some alphabet sigma. Set of strings over some alphabet sigma with the number of A's is equal to number of B's. How that will be written? Okay, I'll repeat the question. I'll repeat it. The question is, okay, show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma. Okay, with the number of A's with the number of A's is equal to, okay, or maybe this way, is equal to the number of B's, is equal to the number of B's. Now, what's the solution over here?
The set would
You
be
have,
something like
yes,
AB,
help.
ABAB, AABB,
Very good, very
AAA,
good.
BBB, ABB, ABB, something like that.
Yes, that's really nice. Can you go one by one? We have ABs,
Yes,
right?
AB,
And
then ABAB,
AB, yes,
then AABB,
BB, right?
then triple B.
Very good. And it can go infinite. Okay.
Hmm.
So this is how you have to represent that in the form of a set of strings. Okay. The question comes in this way: show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma with the number of A's is equal to the number of B's. So this is how you represent that in the form of a set, right? Now we will see something. Okay, so there are few examples over here. Now next question is question number 3. Okay, you have to show the set of, yes, try to solve that, all of you. Okay, you have to show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma. Okay, this is same. You have to show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma that have an A in the fifth position. Okay, read this line carefully. That have an A in the fifth position from the right. From the right. Show the set of, so the question is, guys, show the set of all strings over some alphabet sigma that have an A in the fifth position from the right. So it can be anything. What it can be from the right, it's saying that. Okay. So 1, 2, suppose fifth position from the right. What it will be?
And one could be A, B, B, A, A. So that's one.
Yes. A, B, B, A. This way.
A, A. One more A.
One more A. Yes.
Because it needs to be fifth. Then B, A, B, B, A, B.
It can be
B, A.
B, A. Yes.
B, B, A, B.
B, B, A, B. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then something like that. A, B, A, A, B, A, B. Just needs to be on the fifth position.
A, B, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hmm.
Position. This is also fifth
1, 2,
position.
3, 4, 5.
Yep. In this way, you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Very good. So this is how you represent that. Okay. This is just a representation of languages. Okay. This was the basic part of how do you represent a language. Okay. Now there are certain set operations. You have to be very clear with the set operations, guys. Okay. You had performed this set operations before. What were those operations? You had what? You had union, intersection, complement, difference. Yeah. So all the set operations like union, intersection, complement, and difference, they can be computed. They can be computed or they can be applied on languages as well. Okay. Now, if I give you another example of concatenation. Okay. Now, if I give you an example of okay, concatenation. I will give you an example of concatenation. Okay, for example, there are two pair of languages. Okay, we have pair of we have pair of languages, right? L1 and L1 and L2. Okay, L1 is given by 0,01 and similarly L2 is given by 110. Okay, this is given to you. For concatenation, we have a pair of languages L1, L2. L1 is given by 0,01 and L2 is given by 110. And my concatenation is denoted by L1 dot L2. So that is equal to L1 dot L2. It will be what? It will be concatenate that. Okay. So it will be what? Just try to do. Okay, just 1 minute, guys. Yeah, Rutuja Kadam is present here. Yes. If yes, please respond yes or no.
Yes, ma'am. She has joined the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, are you there, Rutuja? Yes, Rutuja, are you there? Okay, let it be. So we will carry on with our example. See, so this question is given to you. Okay, there are pair of languages L1, L2. Okay, L1 is equal to 0, comma 01. L2 is equal to 110. So if you find out the concatenation of L1 dot L2, concatenation is basically given by L1 dot L2, right? So here you will compute what? You will concatenate both the languages, pair of languages. Okay, so it will be, my answer will be 0110, and it will be what? What will be my answer?
11001.
No, no, no. Try to understand it. 0, concatenate that. It will be 0110. Similarly, it will be
01110.
0.
Okay.
So this is the answer of concatenation. Okay. You will concatenate the two languages. So your solution will be 0110 and it will be 01110. Okay. Now if I give you another set, okay, just take one more set like this. Okay, you have to wait. You have to take one more set. Suppose I give you, suppose I give you L3 is equal to 1000. Okay, this is the set which I have given to you. So how will you do that?
What do we have to do?
You have to concatenate L1 and now forget about L2 now. I have given you one more string, that is L3. Now you have to perform concatenation of L1, L3.
01000.
Yes, it will be
And it will
010. Yes, again, it will be
000.
yes,
0110.
very good. And
0100.
very good. So this is your final solution L1 dot L2. Now what was the difference between this and the previous one? In the previous one, you had L2 as 110. Here, you didn't have two values, right? We have only one value, okay, over here, and that is the binary value, that is 110. Over here, we have two binary values, 0, comma 01. And you performed concatenation and you got different results. But in this case, we have L3, we have two binary values over here, two binary values getting, and the concatenation of two binary values will give you the final result in the form of four binary values, 1 2, yep, 3 and 4, like this. This was just the concatenation, how it is done, right? Now we'll see something which is called as clean closure, or it is also called as clean star. Okay, so you can, so before that, before we proceed that, we can write. Okay, so write down concatenation of language. Okay, write down the definition. Concatenation of language. Concatenation of language L1, comma L2 and L3. Concatenation of language L1, comma L2, comma L3 is given by, okay, concatenation of L1, L2 and L3 is given by, okay, L1, L2, L3, and that is equal to, so it is given by what? And it is also called as associative. It is associative. So write down concatenation of languages is associative. Concatenation of languages. Concatenation of languages is associative. Concatenation of languages is associative. That is for all languages L1, comma L2 and L3. Okay, for all languages L1, comma L2, comma L3. Write down this. We have L1, L2, close the brackets, L3 is equal to L1, into L2, L3. This is called as your associative law. Okay, this is the associative law. Now the next point over here, next point, write it down. The number of strings, this was the first point, the concatenation of languages is associative. Now the second one is the number of strings, the number of strings in L1, L2 is always less than less than or equal, okay, is always less than or equal to the product of individual number, okay, to the product of individual number. So that is what, that is L1, L2 is is less than or equal to L1 dot L2. This is how it is denoted. So the second definition of a language is the number of strings in L1, L2 is always less than or equal to the product of individual numbers. Individual numbers. Which are the individual numbers here? L1 and L2. So this, it states this. Okay, and the next one now. Next formal definition continues in this way. We write L raised to n, L to the power of n, okay? L raised to n to denote is used to denote the language which is obtained by concatenating. L raised to n is the language obtained by concatenating. Language obtained by concatenating n copies of L. N copies of L. Okay. This is your third point to remember in languages. The third point is L raised to n is the language obtained by concatenating n copies of L. Okay, n copies of L.
Ma'am, in the second property, what does it mean? Like individual numbers, what exactly will we multiply? Is it the length of the strings inside or the strings itself?
No. Take one example. If you have L1 as 0, comma 1. Suppose this is given to you. What's the difference between this and this?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Okay, the question is, the second property was the number of strings in L1, L2, number of strings, okay? Number of strings in L1 dot L2 is always less than or equal to the product of individual numbers. Product of individual numbers. This is given. So let's take our previous example itself. What was our previous example? L1 is given as 0, 0, 1 and L2 is given as 1, 0. Now tell me the value of L1, L2. We got what?
0, 1, 1, 0.
0
And
yes.
0,
0,
1,
1,
1,
1,
1, 0.
yes. And number of strings means your assumption was very correct. Number of strings present in L1, L2, it means the length of L1, L2. What is the length of L1, L2, guys?
Is it 9?
Yes. All of
Okay.
you, is it correct?
I don't know.
9.
Okay. So the length of L1, L2 is 9. Now you have to compute the individual length of L1 multiplied, that is product, okay, L1 and L2. What it will be? What's the length of L1 first of all?
4.
3.
4. What? 4? No, no, it's 3, right? 1, 2, 3, na? Length of
Yes, ma'am.
L1 is
3.
3. And length of L2 is?
Also 3.
Also
It
3.
is also 3. So what's the answer over here? L1,
9.
L2. Our definition says that L1, L2 length mode of, okay, length of L1, L2, or the definition was the number of strings in L1, L2 is always less than or equal to L1 dot L2. So yeah, the same thing, L1 dot L2. So is it correct? We got what? L1, the length of L1, L2 is 9 and it's equal to, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
it is true. It means that means it is true, right? So the length of L1, L2 is less than or equal to, it is equal in our case, okay? So is equal to, here also we are is equal to L1 and this is L2. So this is what the overall definition says, that the length of L1, L2 or the number of strings present in L1, L2 is always, okay, always less than or equal to L1 dot L2 individual numbers. So it is less than or equal to the product of individual numbers. This is our definition. I hope that is clear.
Ma'am, this is somewhat we can say permutation
Yes.
and combination.
Yes, yes. This is somewhat like that only. You have to recollect your concepts of permutations, combinations. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will see. Now what is L? L is our language. Okay. And similarly, L to the power of n. That is L is our language. Similarly, L raised to n is, it is the language computed, language after concatenation, language after concatenation. Okay, and it is concatenating n copies of L. We are concatenating what? N copies of L. Now, and formally it is given as L raised to 0. It will be epsilon. Similarly, L raised to n is equal to, this is the formal derivation which is given. L raised to 0 is equal to epsilon and L raised to n is equal to L raised to n minus 1 into L. Okay. For n greater than equal to 1. Now if I give you an example, if we take an example over here, like L is equal to A, B, comma, B. Okay. What will be L raised to 0?
Empty set epsilon.
Very good. It is epsilon. L raised to 1.
The set itself, AB, comma.
Very good. The set is and square will L square will be
AB, AB, AB,
very
B,
good. A B A B A B
AB, B,
B. Yes, again
and then again, then
B B.
BAB, BAB, and then BB.
Very good. B A B and B B. So this is how you, these are the values which you get. So this is what the L raised to n is basically used to denote the language which is obtained by concatenating n copies of L. And this is an example of that which we had seen. Okay. Now, next point to remember over here is, in the context of formal languages, there is another operation that is called as, there is one more operation to remember, and that is called as clean star. Okay. It goes this way. It is clean clean star. This is what? This is another operation that is called as clean star. We will see what is that. Okay, now over here, let's make an assumption that, okay. Okay, now for example, what is clean star? We'll see. For example, we have L is equal to 0. Okay, then what will be L star? L star will be L star is equal to
0 and
a-
empty set, I think.
all the values of L to the power of n. That is, it can be
Oh.
L raised to 0, L raised to 1, L square, it can be L cube, and so on. All the values, okay? Star. Remember our
So that would
alphabets
be
or
an
language.
that be an
Yes,
infinite set.
infinite set. That is an infinite set. Just recollect our this definition, sigma star. What was this? Sigma star was basically, or it is basically a set of all strings present over an alphabet sigma, right? Similarly, over here we use the operation, but L star is the clean star operation. Over here it is used, it will consist of all the values of L raised to n, which is obtained by concatenating n copies of L, right? So L star it is denoted as, and we'll have all the collections of L to the power of n. That is L raised to 0, L raised to 1, L square, L cube, and so on. And it is an infinite. Okay, we will get infinite values over here. And the values can be written as epsilon, since it is L raised to 0. It can be 0, it can be 0, 0, it can be 0, 0, 0, and it can be so on. So this is the clean star operations. Clean star is denoted by L raised to star. Okay. Okay, now we will see some new concept which is very interesting and very, very important. Okay. So this was the basic. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So this was the basic understanding of alphabets, strings, languages, some set operations we had used like concatenation, that's the important one. Okay. And we had also seen the previous lecture, the truth tables and all. We had just an overview about that. Now we will start with something called as finite state automaton. And this is very, very important. We have finite state automaton. Finite state automaton. Now you must be wondering what is the meaning of finite state automaton and why it is required. So in our compilers, okay, in our compiler, we have we have a portion which is reserved for lexical analysis. Lexical analysis. So in our compiler, we have lexical analysis. So basically, finite state automaton is used in lexical analysis in compiler, and it is also some of the applications are image processing as well. Image processing. Okay, now what's the meaning of this lexical analysis? As I told you, it gives a meaning. It gives meaning to a code. Meaning to a code, right? Lexical analysis. So this finite state automaton is used in lexical analysis of compiler, and the meaning of that is it actually gives a meaning to a particular code, how the actual meaning, how that is going to run, what are its, I mean, in what way it's going to run. It will train a particular compiler. Okay, so this FSA, finite state automaton, is used in that. Now if we talk about finite state machine, so this finite state machine works on the principles of finite state automaton. Okay. So in some of the books, it is either referred as finite state machine, and in some it's also referred as finite state automaton. Automaton is basically the language or the training which is required for lexical analysis of a compiler. Okay, now we will see one example over here, guys. Now, so the formal, if you want me to define it formally, formal state automaton. So finite state automaton, FSA. Finite state automaton is a, you can write it, okay? Finite state automaton is a abstract model. Abstract model of synchronous sequential circuit. Do you have this concepts, guys? The DLDA, digital logics. This subject, you had this in your previous semester?
No, ma'am.
Not as a subject.
Oh,
No.
oh, okay. So this was the basics of our understanding. No, no problem. Okay, so finite state automaton is a abstract model of synchronous sequential circuit. This is the definition of that. Now, when you will study a new course that is digital logics, I guess maybe in the coming semesters you have. So, but we will just have a quick look at the important concepts which we will require in our course. Now, if I have this, okay, if I have binary numbers, okay, in digital circuits or digital logics, in digital logic, your information is represented in the form of zeros and ones. So your information is given in a binary form. Now, if I have the binary value as 0110, the length of this string is, suppose I have two strings, S1 and S2. Okay. The length of this string is, okay, I'm having two strings, S1 and S2, and I have to perform addition of these two strings. My length of S1 is equal to 4 and length of S2 is also equal to 4. Okay, this we know by looking at this example. Now, how do we perform ANDing? You have to add, or it is also called AND. Okay, so 0 plus 1, it gives you 1, right? Again, 1 plus 0, it gives you 1. 1 plus 0, it gives you 1. 0 plus 1 gives you 0. This is how you perform addition, right? Addition of two binary numbers. Okay, addition of two binary numbers. Now let us take some big example. If I have the length of a particular string, okay, we'll see some more strings so that you'll understand that. Is this clear how to perform addition, okay, of two binary numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If there are
Now,
if there are two ones, what happens then?
what? True,
If
false,
we
you are
add
saying?
no, if we add two ones, then what
Yes.
happens?
That's what I am going to explain. Now,
Okay.
let's take another example, right? We have another example as 100101. This is my first string. My second string is 101110. Now you try to perform addition. Tell me, 1 plus 0, it gives you 1. 0 plus 1 gives you 1. 1 plus 1, what will it give me? Now here's a concept here. Okay, guys, remember this concept. 0 plus 1 will give you 1. 0 plus 0 will give you 0. 1 plus 1, that will not give you 2. Okay, in your mathematics, if I tell you to solve this 1 plus 1, your natural answer will be 2. But 2 is not acceptable in digital logics or the sequential circuits or finite state automaton. 2 is not acceptable. We are just interested in binary values, and binary values are 0 or 1. It can be either 0 or it can be 1. It cannot be 2. It cannot be 2. So over here, my answer will be 0, but you have to make a note here, but I have a carry, that carry is equal to 1. that carry is equal to 1, right? Why? Because when we decrement one value from here, we get the answer as 1, right? And this 1 becomes your carry. So, okay, don't get confused by this. It too is not acceptable. We are just interested in binary numbers 0 or 1. So when you have 1 plus 1, your answer will not be 2. Instead, it will be 0. So here, 1 plus 1 will give you 0, but you have a carry. One carry is generated, means you carry 1. So 1 is carried over here. So we store 1 over in our next value. Okay. From here to here, we save that 1 or we add that 1 in our next coming values. So what will be my answer here? It will be, now it will be 0 plus 1 plus 1, right? Because I have a carry here, this one, okay? I have 0, 0, plus 1, plus 1. Okay, again plus 1. And what will be my answer over here again? Will it be 0 again? Because I got 2
Yes.
here, right? I
Yes,
got
ma'am.
2, but that will be 0. So I write 0 here. And again a carry is generated 1. That carry I carry forward to our next values. So this carry is shifted over here now. Now tell me, the answer will be 0 plus 0 plus 1. So my answer here is 1, right? So I can write 1 here. Similarly, 1 plus 1 gives you 0 and the carry is generated. But I don't have any values to get added over here. So I'll write that 1 as it is. So this is my answer, 1010011. Is this clear, guys? Just write it down or take a picture of this. Okay, how do we perform an addition? 0 plus 1 gives you 1. 0 plus 0 will give you 0, obviously. 1 plus 1 will give you 0. Why? Because over here we cannot write 2 here. So it will give us 0. We will write it as 0 because it's not a binary value. And a carry is generated. We get a carry. We carry 1 here. And then this one. And that carry is taken to our next values. And again, if we are getting 0, again that carry is forwarded. Okay, this is the final answer. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now let me give you one question on this so that it will assure me that you understood this. Okay. Now perform addition, because this course is not yet taught now. That's why I have to give you slight details of that. Okay. Now calculate addition or perform addition of two binary strings or binary strings you can write. Okay. So suppose I give you question here. Calculate the addition calculate addition of two binary strings. Okay, and I give you the value as 1101. Okay, 0110. This I have given you. Okay, this is my string 1, this is my string 2. How will I perform addition here? Now you tell me the answer. 1 plus 0,
1,
0 plus 1,
1,
1 plus 1.
0.
2.
Yes.
0,
Yes, ma'am.
2 nahi hoga. 1
0.
plus 1. See this.
0,
Okay.
ma'am.
Why? It will be 0. And what else? A carry is generated and that carry is forwarded in
0 here again.
over here. Okay, we have a carry generated here and this is shifted over here. Then again, 1, it will be 1 plus 0 plus 1. It will give you 1
0.
plus 0 plus 1. 0. Again, a carry is shifted over here. It is giving me 1, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how you perform addition of two binary numbers or binary strings. Okay.
Ma'am, can you please explain the carry process?
Carry process. Okay, I will just explain that carry process. Okay. Okay, pay attention over here. Okay, let's take our previous example. We had taken this example. Let's take 100101. This is my first string. Again, I have 1 0 1 1 1 0. This is my second string. I am interested in performing addition. Okay. Now you have to follow certain rules over here. You can just write down the rules here. Write down the rules. 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. 0 plus 0 is equal to 0. Yep. 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. Similarly, 1 plus 1 is equal to 0. And a note to remember over here is carry is generated. Carry is generated, and that carry is 1. Okay, write it down, okay, or take a picture. So rules over here are 0 plus 1 will always give me 1. 0 plus 0 will give you 0. 1 plus 0 will give you 1. But why not 1 plus 1 give me 2? Yeah, this must be a question which arises in your minds. Why 1 plus? Because in mathematics we have solved 1 plus 1, it gives us 2, right? 2. But over here we are interested in binary values. Now what's the meaning of binary values? Binary values means all forms of information which is given in the form of 0 or 1. It can be 0011, it can be 000111, 1010111, etc, etc, etc. All these are what? These are my binary values. And why these are called as binary values? Because it is giving me the answer in the form of zeros and ones. So basically, uh, whenever you use this is off and this is on. Suppose I have a circuit over here. Okay, I have certain pins 1 2 3 4 5 6. So my one of my pin can be 0, one of my pin can be 1. This you will study in your later courses. Okay, now if I attach an LED, you understand LED, it's a small device, light emitting device. Okay, if I attach or insert an LED in pin number 1, and if the answer is 0, it means that it will not glow. It should glow. Okay, the circuit says that the light or the bulb in that LED should glow. Okay, now check an example. Okay, you are using your lights at your home, right? And you have buttons, you have switch for that. You How do we turn it on? By pressing the button, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you want to turn on the lights, or your fans, you switch on that button. So that value is 1 on. Okay, it's in the machines. In the machines, whenever you this is an electronic subject, okay, but still we will have an understanding. When the machine is switched on, or for example, we were taking an example of light. If your tube light, you want to turn it on, you will press the switch or you'll press the button. It means what? You are giving the input to that particular circuit. As you have a circuit, right? That's part of electronics. So you are giving the input as 1 to the circuit, and then it will understand the input is 1, so it will switch on the tube light. Similarly, when you switch it off, from it takes a transition from 1 to 0, right? On and then off, then again you press the button, or you give the indication that I want to switch it off, so it turns the 1 to 0. So this is the transition. And but my main concept, my main motivation for you to understand this is that you have to understand that the information in the machines or the electrical circuits is giving. We have to give that in the form of 1 or zeros. So every information is present in the form of ones and zeros. Now even our this thing, what we can say, even our PCs, computers, it stores the information in binary. Okay, in the form of zeros or ones. Our computer information, computer systems, or our laptops, it works on the concepts of zeros and ones only. Okay, and if let us take one more example. If you have image processing, if you have an image over here, every image is composed. Suppose S, I'm writing this S is composed of several dots, and that dots are called as pixels. Okay, that dots are called as pixels. So over here, if my answer is 1, it means that there is presence of information. If it is blank, right? See here, it's blank. If it is blank, it is absence of information. So just remember that your PC, your computer system, or your laptop will always compute the values, whatever you give in the form of zeros and ones. So computer understands the language of zeros and ones. Is this clear? I think we are going away from our main topic. Okay. So computer understands the language of zeros and ones only. It cannot understand our English grammar or etc. etc. So whatever, if you're writing a program and you are compiling that later on, your code is converted in the forms of zeros and ones. Computer is not understanding that language, English language or whatever language. That first it has to get converted in the form of zeros and ones internally in the computer, and then it will give you output because it understands the language of zeros and ones only. So similarly, in our example, let's take, we are interested in, and what are the binary values? Binary values can be either 0 or it can be 1. Now here in mathematics, if I say 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, this gives you 2. But in our case, we are not interested in 2. We want binary values. So for getting binary values, we are getting the answer as 0. We are writing it as 0. Why 0? Because it's not a binary value, right? Our here we are getting binary value. 0 plus 1 is giving you 1. That is a binary value. 0 plus 0 will give you 0. 1 plus 0 is 1. That's also a binary value. But 1 plus 1 will give you 2. But that's not a binary value. Yeah. So that's why it's an absence of information. So I write 0 over here. And always remember, guys, whenever you add two ones, you will get the output as 0. But a carry is generated. Now, what do you mean by carry? Let's see. Check here. 1 plus 0 gives you 1. 0 plus 1 will gives you 1. 1 plus 1 will give you 0. But the definition is carry is generated. Carry means you have to add one more 1. Okay, after that. One more one. You don't have to add this 1 here. At this particular moment, at this particular point of time, 1 plus 1 is giving, we are writing it as 0 because it's not a, it is giving us 2. It is not a binary value. So it is absence of information. So we will write 0 here. And over there only we generate one more 1. Keep in mind, you always have to generate one more 1. And that one is used for your next addition. This one is shifted over here. Okay, now 1 plus 1, it will again give me 0, and one more carry is generated, but we cannot write 2 here. Now 1 plus 1 is 2 because we already have a carry here. So this carry is again shifted over here. Now 0 plus 0 plus 1, that is 0 plus 0 plus 1, it will give me 1. 1 plus 1, it gives you 0, and a carry is generated, but that we are using in our next move. But over here we don't have any values. So that's eventually we can write 1 over here. Is this clear?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
I hope it's clear. Please go through this, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just remember these rules and try to solve certain examples. If you want, I can give you examples. Or maybe I'll share some notes on this. Not much, but 1 page of note on this. Okay, how a carry is generated and all. But that will be too much this thing for you. So my concept, remember this. Rules. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 rules here. How a addition of a binary, how a binary addition takes place. Just remember this, and always a carry is generated at that point of time, and then you use that carry in our next operations, next addition. You go on adding it. Okay, I think we will stop here now. It's already too late. Okay, guys, wait a minute. Just let me take the attendance. In the next lecture we will solve regular expression, or if you just guys try to get to know all these concepts of additions. Okay, and if not, let me know. We will solve more examples on these additions, binary additions. Yep, we will stop. Okay, wait a minute, just give me 2 minutes. Yes, I can see two hands up here. Yes, who are they? Aviraj, you had a question? No. Sorry, I just saw it now.
No, ma'am. Not
No,
now.
no. Okay. Okay, I hope I have answered your question. But you have to remember the rules of addition. Try to solve more examples, and if possible, in our next lecture, we will take. But that is very simple concept. But still, we will take one or two examples on addition also again, for you to recollect the concept. Okay, I know it requires time to understand something new, but just remember the rules for addition of two ones, 1 plus 1. The output we cannot write 2 here, so here we are interested in binary values 0 and 1. I will write a 0 here because I have not got the expected output, so I will write 0, and I will create carry one more carry. I have to create and store it with me, and I have to use that for my next addition operation. Okay, so yeah, I have downloaded the attendance now, guys. Thank you. You can leave the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.